Alright everyone, we have a fairly packed news day today. I think I've got already 9 topics, by the way, lined up for the live stream later. I will be recapping this one as well as the other main video of the day in there. I'm probably going to have to bounce the Nancy Pelosi story because of the fuckery going on right now on Twitter being more relevant than Nancy Pelosi at this time. Very interesting and intriguing day now, isn't it? But the first news story here, link in the description. It's not archived. This is just an announcement. The House GOP is actually following through with one of its core promises to people, by which it took the House, which is, yes, we're going to investigate Hunter Biden's laptop. We're going to have a committee, and we're going to deal with that and look into it. That's the good news. Of course, we'll have to wait and see who is on this committee. If it's like Marjorie Taylor Greene heading it or something, yeah, it might go somewhere. My gut instinct is that the House Republicans will stack it with neocons. They'll have a couple of MAGA attack dogs there just for show to make it look fair. But then like Kevin McCarthy himself will be asking the questions or something, and they'll softball it. That's my expectation based on decades of knowledge about the Republicans. But we're not sure of that. To be clear, it is a win for them that they're actually following through with something they did say that they intended to do if they took back the House. Now I'm hoping that they block the IRS expansion. That's something that needs immediate attention. They should look into other goings-ons with regards to the economy. I found it funny that the initial response to this was, well, this is going to tackle inflation. The leftoids there are like, well, where's your plan for the economy? As though without the will of the Senate or the executive branch, the House GOP can really fucking do anything on the economy other than force Biden to negotiate the next time budget deals come through. Well, that's not realistic. By the way, you are in the lame duck session right now, so the new House hasn't even been compiled. There are still several seats that are out and waiting. I have to look into the Boebert race later, too, to tell the truth. I think there was one more drop of like 30 votes the other day. So, literally nothing. Of course, it leaned heavily towards her opponent. We'll just keep that as it is. I think that the committee, in the end, will probably find corruption. They will expose this for what little it's worth, because the legacy media won't cover it. Will they actually will they impeach Joe Biden for it? My hope is yes. Of course, he does deserve to be impeached. He willfully lied to the American people. Specifically, we know this. He lied about meeting with people that were working with Hunter Biden as part of business deals. He assured the American people during the Dem primaries and, during the general election against Trump in 2020, he promised the American people, I did not meet with any of his business associates. I had literally nothing to do with what was going on. So don't blame me. He throws his crack-smoking son under the bus, I suppose, knowing he can shield him from prosecution. But then we found out, pertinent to the laptop that'll be investigated, that we have pictures, actually, of Joe Biden meeting with multiple of these individuals. So he lied. He did. That is an objective, cold, hard fact. Forensic analysis of the materials there have shown that they are all in line. They are real. These are pictures of Hunter. These are pictures of his associates. There are hundreds of pictures of him dicking prostitutes and things like that. I don't know why he decided to store these on a computer in the first place. I guess maybe as trophies or something. Look how manly I am, or some stupid cracked up shit there. Smoking Parmesan cheese accidentally at more than one point, it seems. But again, let's lower our expectations. These are House Republicans we're dealing with. The House is narrowly GOP. That's perhaps a good thing. But there are still neocons in the House. Look at who's heading the FTX investigation committee right now. Oh, it's Maxine Waters, a personal friend of the CEO of FTX. That'll be meaningful. That'll lead many places, I'm sure. To be clear, the Republicans are between a cock and a hard place on the Hunter Biden issue for one very important reason, which is that any investigation into the laptop, because of the poisoning of the well that was done by the legacy media when the story first broke years ago, will look politically partisan. Even if there is proof, not just evidence, but proof of Joe Biden at least having lied to the American people contained in the images that are on the laptop. Now, Hunter Biden, they're also trying to astroturf and gaslight right now, people that are in defense of the Biden regime, saying, well, nobody cares about Hunter Biden, he's not an elected official. I've tried to point out multiple times. I don't care that Hunter Biden smoked crack. I think drugs should be legal. I don't care that he hired prostitutes. I don't care that he probably dealt crack to them. I also don't care about him cheating on the former spouse of his dead brother with a stripper, getting her pregnant, lying about it, and then taking the measure of trying to lower his child support and an adjustment. These things are immoral. They're morally bankrupt and problematic, maybe. Other than, again, the crack. Not giving it to kids or anything. That's okay. I have maybe a problem with them, but true, he's not an elected official, but that's not the point. The investigation's into his laptop, but it's not into Hunter Biden. It's into Joe Biden, just to be clear. Did he actually involve himself in business dealings? There's at least reasonable evidence to suggest the possibility that that's the case. People from the FBI definitely should be subpoenaed by the forthcoming House committee because, of course, they covered the story up as well. You'll remember it wasn't that long ago. Zuckerberg went on to Joe Rogan's podcast, sort of going in the lion's den when you're a big tech bigwig, by the way, going on Rogan's particular show, to say, look, the FBI told us wink, wink, nudge, nudge, the same day that this story broke. Be wary of disinformation. You need to be on the lookout for Russian state disinfo. The insinuation being the Hunter Biden story was bullshit, and the FBI had knowledge that it was bullshit. But then behind closed doors, according to several whistleblowers, the FBI acknowledged it was real, and the reason why it attempted to cover the story up to hush-hush it was because they didn't want to look like they were influencing the 2020 election by favoring Donald Trump. By default, they thought, I guess, that would happen because they're like, well, we'd be corroborating this story. It's coming from people like Roger Stone, etc. It's going to look like we're trying to throw the election. We don't want to end up like Comey, so, we're just going to take a step back. We'll acknowledge it a year later, and the legacy media can talk about it then. Once the election's over, of course. And it did damage at the time, because some people at least woke up and recognized, oh, I was lied to for an entire year. A lot of people didn't, though. Some of these people still swear up and down that the entire story is Russian disinformation, even though the same legacy media bullshitters that told them that it was disinfo have all acknowledged that it's not, starting, of course, with the Washington Post and going through the New York Times and many others. So as far as the committee being convened, good. As far as it being Republican-leaning, that's good. If only for partisan purposes, I hope that they hammer away at it. The problem is that the impact is blunted by the literal disinfo that's been fed to part of the population. The irony is that the claim of Russian disinfo is itself the disinfo. It's number one. And number two, we've got to look very carefully at who ends up heading and on the committee. If it looks like Neocon Inc., if it looks like, John McCain's ghost, I know he was a senator, don't crucify me, John McCain's ghost and Mitt Romney's cousin and people like that, don't expect anything from it. Softballs, very dry, boring process. It's not going to get any airtime. There's not going to be any fireworks there, really. No major revelations other than what we already know. Again, though, if you get Marjorie Taylor Greene and people like that, Lauren Boebert ends up on the committee, then the Democrats could have a little bit of a logistic issue. They'd have to cover the story up again instead of actually mounting a reasonable legal defense of their Führer, Joe Biden. That's about all. Peace out.